Hello, I'm Liviu Bălan, and today I will speak about the differences viewer for files in PhpStorm, meaning compare two files. So let's get started. During this tutorial, I will use a personal project of mine named liviubalan.com-vagrant-ubuntu. If you want to learn more about this project, I encourage you to check out the useful links section, and from here check out the github.com URL. Okay, you can open the differences viewer without running PhpStorm. In order to do this, all you have to do is to open a command line interface and here copy and paste the path to PhpStorm executable file and then followed by a space, the diff option, and then space, the first file that you want to compare, space, and then the second file that you want to compare. Even if you can do this externally, I don't encourage you to do this because in my opinion you will have to define a project and all the changes and comparing and stuff like this that you want to do will have to do inside of this project. If you want, you can think of this process something like creating a virtual machine, and all the operations that you will have to do will be done inside of it. Okay, during this tutorial I will use two files in order to show you what the differences viewer for files can do. In order to see this file, all you have to do is to expand the share compare directory, and in order to do this, all you have to do is to double click on the share directory and then double click the compare directory. Next, let's open file-1 and file-2.txt by double clicking on them. You will see that these files are plain text file that I will use during this tutorial. Okay, in order to open the differences viewer for files, all you have to do is to select file-1.txt and file-2.txt, right click on them and then choose compare files. Okay, let's do this. Click on file-1.txt and press and hold the control key press and hold the control key, right click on these files and then choose the compare files. So this is the window that we will use during this tutorial. In order to close this window, I will have to press the ESC key or click this close button here. Okay, what I want you to remember is that the differences viewer for files dialog is displayed every time you compare two files or compare two versions of a file. Local changes or changes between local files or their version in a repository or in a remote repository. You can compare files of any type, including binaries and .jar files. During this tutorial, I will use the differences viewer for files only to compare two files, and I will not refer to the history of a file or comparing it with a remote repository or comparing binary files. So I will use this tool only to compare file-1 and file-2.txt, which are plain text files. Okay, next I will open again the differences viewer for files, and let's examine the tooltip buttons inside of it. Remember that these tooltip buttons are relative to the context, meaning that you can have more or less buttons relative to the context that you apply the difference viewer. So if you open it only to compare two files, you will have a specific set of tooltip buttons. But if you, for example, compare two different versions of a file on local history, or comparing a file with a remote repository version, you will have more or less buttons. Keep this in mind, but and keep in mind that the window, the differences viewer, is the same, but the buttons are relative to the context. Okay, the first set of buttons that you will see in the differences viewer for files are the previous difference or next difference buttons. Use these buttons to jump to the next or previous difference. Okay, choose compare files here, and the buttons that I was telling you are this one. Because I am on the first difference here, the previous difference button is grayed out. But if I go to this button, I will be able to see the next difference. And you will see here also that I can use the F7 shortcut. So if I press this button, the cursor will change to the next difference. And if I press it again, it will jump to the next difference also. Look that now the previous differences is able to be used. Now, if I go to the last difference of the file, you will see that this button is grayed out also, the next difference button. And I am able to use the previous difference, and you will see that the shortcut for this is Shift F7. Let's close this window for now. And let's talk about the next button, Jump to Source. Click this button to open the selected file in the active pane, panel in the editor. The caret will be placed in the same position as in the differences viewer. Let's compare these files again, and the button that I was telling you about is this one, Jump to Source. Let's go, for example, to the difference here and put the caret here. You will see that I am on file-1.txt, and the cursor is here at the end of test1 word. If I'm pressing this button here, Jump to Source, I will jump to file-1 to line 14 after the word test1. Press this button, and as you can see here, this is my PhpStorm here, file-1, and the caret is on line on the line 14 after the test1 word. The same can be applied here. For example, if I'm going on file-2.txt after the letter D and press this button here, Jump to Source, I am redirected to file-2.txt after the letter D. Okay, let's talk about the next option, Viewer Type. Use this drop-down list to choose the desired viewer type. The side-by-side viewer has two panels. The unified viewer has one panel only. The unified viewer can change text only in the right-hand part of the default viewer. Okay, So let's see this option, which is this one. And as you can see, by default, the default viewer is chosen, meaning that you have two panels, the left one here and the right one here. Now, if I go to the first difference here, for example, and here I am pressing the A key and here I am pressing the B key, you'll see that I am able to make difference, to add text on both of these parts. But if I am choosing the unified viewer, you'll see that now I am seeing only one panel. And if I'm going here and press for example the C key, I am not able to see to add any text. And as you can see here, the content is grayed out. But if I'm going to the second difference and press the C key, you will see here that I am able to add some content. So in the unified viewer, you will see only one panel and you will be able to make changes only on one part. Let's use the default viewer and let's use here the Ctrl+C to revert the changes. Okay, next let's talk about the Whitespace option. Use this drop-down list to define how the differences viewer should treat whitespaces in the text. There are several options here, and the first one is do not ignore. White spaces are important and all differences are highlighted. Trim white spaces, meaning that the tab and spaces, if they appear in the end and in the beginning of the line. Ignore white spaces. White spaces are not important regardless of their location in the source code. Ignore white spaces and empty lines, for example changing A space B space C to A new line B space C is not highlighted in this mode. Okay, so let's check out this option here. Choose compare files again and let's change the value here. As you can see here, by default I am using the do not ignore, and in this case the lines here, test space 1, test 1 space test 2 and test 1 space test 2, but with some spaces here, are considered two different values. But if I am choosing the trim white spaces, because I am using some spaces here at the beginning of the line, these spaces are trimmed, meaning are removed, and the lines here are considered the same. But as you can see here on this line, the trimming of the spaces are not applied because the spaces are inside of the line, meaning that are not at the beginning or at the ending of this line. In order to trim the spaces here, I will use another option, meaning ignore white spaces. And as you can see, the white spaces are ignored even if they are at the beginning or at the ending of the line or inside of the words. Okay, but as you can see here, these values are considered two different values, test 1 space test 2 and test 1 new line spaces test 2, because test 2 in this case is located on a new line. In order to remove new lines for this equation, let's choose ignore white spaces and empty lines. So if I choose this option, you will see here that even test2 is on a new line. This new line and empty spaces are removed, and this line here, test1 space test2, and spaces test1 new line spaces test2 are considered the same. Okay, let's close this window for now, and let's speak about the highlighting mode option. Select the way differences granularly is highlighted. The options listed here are: do not highlight. The differences are not highlighted at all. Highlight lines. The modified lines are highlighted. Highlight words. The modified words are highlighted. Highlight split changes. Big changes are split into smaller atomic changes. So let's choose compare files again, and I will choose here do not ignore for the previous option in order to use the defaults. So the do not highlight, as you can see, do not highlight any changes, and now I don't have a previous or next difference. Next, this will highlight the lines, so you will see here changes at the line level. Then this will highlight the words, and as you can see here, this word here ABC is marked, and also here I have marked the D letter, and also I have the option to highlight split changes, and you will see here the changes also. Okay, another option that you can do is the collapse unchanged fragments. This option collapses all unchanged fragments in both files. Let's compare files again, and the option is listed here. If I press this button, you'll see that here I'm having this symbol, and the same values on both of my panels are trimmed in less lines here. And if we want to expand the changes here, you can press this button here, plus and minus. So this is a way to remove some lines from your current files which are the same. So this symbol here is for some content inside of your files that are not showing you the differences. So you can use it to minimize the height of your current documents in order to concentrate to your changes, and not to you can concentrate to the differences of your files and not to the values of your files which are the same. Okay, uncheck this button, close this window, and the next option that I will speak about is the Synchronize scrolling. Click this button to simultaneously scroll both differences panels. Okay, compare files again, and as you can see now, if I scroll inside of my left side and inside of my right side, you will see that now I have a synchronized scroll. But if you want to synchronize them separately, you can choose this button, Synchronize Scrolling, and now you will see here that the Synchronize Scrolling is off and I am able to scroll independently my left side and my right side. My recommendation is to always use this button and use the Synchronize Scrolling here. Okay, the last option that I will speak about is the editor settings. Click this button to reveal the drop-down list of available check commands. Right-click the gutter to show the menu of check commands. Okay, now if I open the compare files again, you will see here the editor settings button. If I click on it, I am able to check or uncheck specific options here. For example, if I click on show white spaces, you will see here that I am able to see the spaces at the beginning and inside of my lines. If I uncheck the show lines, you will see here on the gutter that I am not seeing any lines number. Also, you will see here that I am having a really long text on this line and on this line also, and here I am having this sign that is telling me that the text is continuing to the next line here, and this should be on this line here. If I want to see this text on only one line, all I have to do is to remove the use soft wraps, and now I am able to see the content in the raw format on only one line. What I was telling you previously is that this menu here can be accessed by going to the gutter here and right click on it, and you will see the same options here, and also you will be able to see the annotate options here, but we will not use it during this tutorial because it is related to a version control system. Okay, another useful option that you will see in this window are the number of differences here, which are 9, and is really useful to see the differences between two files, the differences number. Okay, so this is how you access the differences viewer for files in order to compare two files in PhpStorm. If you want to learn more about PhpStorm, about web technologies, I encourage you to watch my tutorials on YouTube and also visit my website livybalan.com. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.